The following stream contains mature content and subject matter. Viewer discretion is advised. At the dawn of the 22nd century, humanity reached new heights of technology and spread themselves throughout the solar system. Eventually, even the mind could be uploaded into digital format. This, combined with advances in medical 3D printing, allowed for replacing entire bodies when age or injury became too severe. Not content with near immortality, humanity began uplifting other sentient animals and even experimenting with artificial intelligence. It was one of these experiments that gave rise to the first artificial superintelligences, dubbed Titans. No one knows exactly how long the Titans watched and waited, but when they finally revealed themselves, it was to bring ruination upon their creators. In the war that followed, 95% of all life was destroyed, and humanity was forced to abandon their radioactive homeworld. Now, 10 years after the fall, the Titans have abruptly disappeared, leaving humanity and their creations to rebuild and to question. Did we bring this upon ourselves? And if so, have we learned enough to not repeat our past mistakes? Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Eclipse Phase 2nd Edition, Fragments of Self. I am the storyteller tonight, or the game master, I should say, Shanky McStabber.
Good evening. I am Sangre EXE, Sykeshire for short.
Hi, I'm Beetle Spock, and I'll be playing Fen for the Financial Evaluation Network.
And I'm Marrowword, and I am playing Kadath, the Octopus Uplift.
I'm Irian, and tonight I'm playing Tolfrin Davies, isolationist, who's stuck with a lot of people right now.
Hey everyone, I'm Glaciator Kai, and please research your names before giving to your characters. I am playing Moho as Rocklash. Yeah.
Good evening, I am KO, and I will be playing the crew sponsor, Rock Leary Gangsty II, esteemed artist.
Welcome to episode 2 of this miniseries, everybody. When we were starting off with this miniseries, the crew of this ship had been restored from backup, a backup that was not only 3 months old, but it had also experienced corruption, causing for gaps in their memory. But the most important part is they have no clue where they had been for the past 3 months, which started off this little investigation as they attempted to find where their previous bodies were, their morphs, as it is called. They located one of them that was now working in a brothel inside Paradise Station, which orbits Deimos. The rest of them were gone, and as Kadeth pointed out, it's kind of a little too clean. All their leads disappeared. But as we were ending, they had set off for the scum swarm called Better Than Vacuum, which is where apparently they had gone to find a job, is what their ship's AI had said. But as we're opening up actually on a news broadcast from the Monster Raging Goblin Cock News Network. The host of this show is Momo Von Satan. She's got red skin, as you would expect, horns, a tail, barely wearing any clothes. And her co-host is, well, he's the Monster Raging Goblin Cock. He is a 8-foot phallus with Viking fangs and a Viking horn. And as this broadcast is opened up, Momo starts off with, Monster, have you heard about what the rumors that are spreading about Paradise Station? It's just rumors. Nobody cares about that. Arr! She goes, well, no, but I've heard that the consortium Navy implemented a blockade of the station recently. They always blockading everything. They can blockade these nuts. I don't care. And she looks over, but what's your reaction to EgoCasts even being blocked coming in and out of the station? They've gone for a full lockdown. Cognite's always doing stupid shit. Next thing you know, they're going to come in there with the voices and wipe out half the people and claim it was a temporary measure to put things under control. And she looks at, but you're just being unreasonable. Fuck you, don't care. Well, I guess that's the point of view here at Monster Raging Goblin Cock News Network. Next up, we're going to be interviewing the brand new Glitterati star, Sable. And then it kicks over to commercials. Now, even on your ship, you do get the news networks. So I'm sure you've probably caught part of that news at some point as the crew comes out of the rest cycles. You are one day out from Better Than Vacuum. And most of you have bodies that do require eating and food and drink and oxygen. Not everybody. So I'm going to turn it over to the players. If you've gathered up, done your morning on ship side, maybe? It's time of day is vague on a ship. But I'll turn it over to the players.
As you know, I have evaluated our backups and save for Sangers and determined that there was gaps and in our memory, in our logs and everything, and are concise with each other. They're not random. I found random, not random spots of.
They all occurred at the same time.
Yes.
I would probably make the assumption that mine would also have the same gap, even though it was not evaluated.
Probable.
And to top it all off, as according to the news, the place is just closed off now. Seems like they didn't want a few things vanishing.
Closed off, as in, define, please.
As in barricaded everything, not permitting anyone to. EgoCast, you watch the news, that flaming cock thing.
Well, that sounds like it is not necessarily blocked off physically. It is more of just hard to get into.
Find out soon enough.
What's the nature of our problem then?
There is none.
I just find it too convenient that it happened just as we left.
Well, what was the security system that I was hacking into that they pinged me?
You were trying to get into the consortium Navy files to find out
Right.
about what happened to Sangri's morph.
Yes, so it's possible related to that, to my research into that, the consortium Navy.
Ben, one additional question about the your backup analysis. Was the corruption the same or just random for each of the backups? I mean, is there any chance there can be a message encoded in the otherwise seemingly random corruption?
Well, my analysis was purely to see if there was any gaps that aligned with each other. I can rescan for any.
No, if you have time, it's just a point of interest.
We do have a day, so I do have the time to do a further analysis. The meaning of blocks.
Storyteller, how common are dream sequences or things
I
like
mean,
that?
You're still up for everybody except Finn. Finn only has dreams if Finn desires to have dreams. Otherwise, the rest of you, dreams are like any normal person's. Though, much like a person, it's very rare to fully remember your dreams the next day. And given the way the ego works and the way your brain is scanned, it's very easy for you to have ensure your mind is edited in a way that you don't have nightmares anymore. You don't have bad dreams because, I mean, when you're talking full control of the brain, it's awful easy to make sure that only the things you want to happen in your sleep do.
So Moho says, actually, Finn, would you mind running a scan on my end as well? Had a weird dream last night.
Of course. I do not.
Eh.
I've not analyzed the dream, but I can match it up to any databases on esoteric meanings behind them, and
It's more to see if there's anything screwed up in my head.
okay.
Tell us your dream.
All right. A dream that was back in the mining days, I was mining some type of weird metal that kept changing form. It was not something I ever experienced.
Very
Was
strange.
it frightening or painful or joyous?
It was weird.
Define
was-
weird.
That's the problem. Not like I can define what was the nature of the dream by that reason. That's why I'm asking Fan.
We also had a dream unaccounted for.
Do
It
tell.
was not as your dream. We dreamed we were flat, lying down. Above was a light, and looking down were shadowy figures. And in the distance, unclear how close, a beeping, rhythmic beeping sound.
Dreams are personal to your history.
This was not like history or memory. It felt different. Strange, weird.
Fake?
I can you would like I would scan any dreams, any
We
record
would
of
appreciate
brain
this.
activity.
Yeah, do that.
Yes.
Can you record what was played in my mind?
That actually can be done. You can actually take your brain scan and you can pull memories from your backups to play what is stored in your memory. Because once you've backed up your memory, it becomes a digital file that can be manipulated just like any digital file.
Mm-hmm.
You would have to get a new backup, of course, because you were sleeping at the time and you didn't get backed up since then, but it takes about an hour to back up a living brain. It takes 15 minutes to back up Finn's, but the rest of you takes about an hour to back up.
You would like to provide biological processes are not my specialty, but
You're right,
Like a-
Finn. Dreams are not something that can just barely be decoded. They're interpretation. They're our brain's deepest, darkest, most personal forms of art.
See, this mumbo jumbo you just said is all fine I just want to check one thing.
Which is
Consistency. I remember this dream wow too well, which is weird.
We agree.
I'll run for the. What do you need? A backup? A scan? What?
Anything you can provide would suffice.
A backup would work.
A backup
Backups.
then. And Moho goes to backup.
Okay.
We will as well.
See if I can use my scans from last night to maybe see if there's any correlation. Maybe I can find that pattern, some message.
Let me see. There's a certain skill I'm looking for. I have to find it real quick because you may not be the best one to analyze it.
Right.
I'm trying to remember which one it was. Give me 1 second. I'll find the skill. I know somebody had it. It's a medicine style skill, no less.
Mm-hmm.
Looking now.
In
Maybe
D6.
nobody has it. I don't know. We'll find out. I'll know in a second.
I have forensics.
Nope, that's not the one.
infosec,
Yeah, that's more
not
for like
infosec. Mhm.
Nope, nobody has it. I think you're going to have to let your muse can roll, though. Muses do have it. Psychosurgery. A muse has psychosurgery, which is basically memory and brain knowledge of how memories are stored and where they're stored.
Mhm.
You can use your morph can make that roll. But
my
I'll
muse.
give them a bonus of you assisting. So I'm going to
Okay.
roll that. Where's the modifier? There we go. Give it a modifier. Okay. Yep.
Failure.
Yep. That was one of the two. Got two of them to do because you've got two different
Yep.
brains you're examining.
So I click
Ooh.
on.
Nice.
What was the modifier? Oh, you're doing it.
Yep. Superior success when examining Kadeth's backups. Kadeth, your backups, the Muse, Mr. Moneybags, great name for your Muse, by the way. Mr. Moneybags, after analyzing, says that the memory from last night's dream is actually been stored in one of the corrupted areas of the brain. Not quite sure if it came from there or has just been added to there, but it is in one of the sections that were corrupted from the backups. With a Scrooge McDuck voice, of course.
It's yeah. Yes, I was I was not able to find. Well, my muse, Mr. Moneybags, was not able to find any correlation for yours, but for you, Kadaths, it did. Well, it was has to do with did it correlate with the you said it correlated with the memory backups,
With the corrupted sections
corrupted
of where
sections.
memories are stored. Like I said, it does. You don't know if that means, or your muse doesn't know if that means it was already in there or whether that's where it was stored. But it is in one of the corrupted memory sections.
Hmm. Let's really explain.
But you can have your muse explain it to everybody.
Right, that's what they
The
explain.
muse lets everybody know.
Is it just me or is it this getting borderline weird?
Well, if everything was, well, as you said, clean before, I think weird is actually on the right track.
Yeah.
That would seem logical.
main problem then is why these dreams?
And why you too, specifically?
And are they dreams? Indeed. Something else.
I mean, maybe your mind
Implanted
is,
memories, maybe?
and your
Memory?
It.
biological brains try to form some sort of connection and meaning to it. But I can do further analysis for the day today to see if there is a message or some sort of code. Perhaps it's connected to our quantum locks in our ship.
Find it unlikely to think that it might be unconnected to anything. We think it is a good idea to look.
Yeah. Since you didn't find anything about my dream, I'll try to recollect as best as possible. Try to see if I can find any details that's wrong.
So yeah, that's what I will do for the day. So is that infosec or is that
Yeah, infosec will work.
As for
Or-
me, can I do no scavenging to try and compare what was my dream versus my experience as a scavenger?
Sure.
infosec just straight?
Ooh.
Okay. Success on the scavenging about that kind of memory. Superior success on the infosec. For yours, Mohel, first of all, whenever you went mining as part of your indenture, you weren't generally on the asteroid itself as yourself. You were there normally inhabiting some sort of mining vehicle. So the fact that you're seeing yourself on this asteroid doing the mining, first of all, immediately sets off your warning, because there's no way you as an individual could mine nearly as much as an industrial mining machine. You just lack the sheer amount of mining equipment that is attached to one. And secondly, most asteroids are, when they're picked, they only contain one or two types of ore that they're harvested from, and it doesn't change. When you go to mine an asteroid, they know already what they're after. The machines, that's part of what you're doing in the machine, is making sure it only mines the stuff they want and throws everything else aside. Now, what were you exactly checking, Finn? I need to know that because you got superior success. I want to know what bonus to give you on it.
Okay. So I was trying to see if there was, like Talfrin said, any messages and anything with Kadath scan as well. Anything to that can lead to any clues, possibly about that quantum lock in our ship, like the password that we do not have. That was something to do with Terra,
I'm going to tell you.
I think, or old planet or something.
No, it said the origin. That was what your hint was. Looking over it, you had a superior success. I will tell you, based on your knowledge, looking over the files and the types of files, there's nothing hidden in there. But you're pretty sure that memory he has is not new. It was there already. It is not the dream being stored in the corrupted section. It is a fragment of a file from the corrupted section that he is viewing.
That they were both viewing.
You would assume Kadeth had the same thing, viewing part of a fragment of a file.
Would I be able to run an infosec on my own self?
Oh, you can.
would I be able to add any situational awareness? Would that help or no?
I mean, you haven't had a dream to try to index yet, so you don't know where you might find one of these fragments.
But it would at least show, do I have the same kind of gap? Or would that?
You'd need to go over a brain scan like Finn had done with the rest of the group.
Right. Okay.
Though if everyone had identical corruption in the same places, you can assume you also had the corruption, because if 5 people had it, the 6th person probably matches everybody else.
Agreed.
It is very likely that we will all encounter these dreams of sorts. Maybe not for my own sake. Maybe it will manifest in a different way, but at some one point or another, we will have a dream of some sort. It's just Mohel and Kadats were just the first. And possibly more could come of it.
Do all of you remember when we were watching the camera film of the ship where Kadaf apparently was handling some business with only 2 tentacles?
Yes.
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 My dream was me personally mining a meteor. Why would I mine a meteor personally and not use any mining equipment? Once can be attributed to luck. Twice, it's not a coincidence. These inconsistencies are pointing to memory implanted material.
It could be that memory was implanted based on what either someone else or a computer believed would be your particular behaviors, but did not know you well enough in order to implant correct memories. Only guessed.
Summarization, sometimes a guess. Sounds like someone read a file and tried to make things up. It was very convincing, but the finer details are pointing to problems. It appears that it was not only our bodies that vanished in these 3 months, but our very memories were edited.
And corrupted.
And we just happened to vanish away from the place that has one of the bigger bases of the backup system.
Storyteller or GM.
Yes.
At this point in history, is it common that government state level agencies would have the capability of replacing memories with enough detail that you would assume it real, or is it just more likely they would just put in noise in a
state level?
Yeah.
Brain hacking is done on the fly by some people. It is because memory has been digitized, though they don't understand fully the brain, and it's not an exact science. People have their memories altered constantly. Actually, it's quite common that if you experience a traumatic event that you can't deal with, a lot of people will have that deleted completely from their memories and replaced with something else so that they don't have to go through the trauma of remembering what happened to them. So it can be done by more than just state level. It can be done by almost anyone with knowledge of mind hacking.
It seems, what? If they were so, everything else seems so clean, why would they not have gone to the effort of placing something that we wouldn't have noticed? I mean, why would they have left corruption in our backups?
Why would they leave a cryptic message in our boat?
Are we sure that we did not do this to ourselves, to erase memory on purpose?
That's A possibility.
Or a third party
A
was
third party?
maybe fighting on our behalf to prevent this from happening. And in
And would
in
leave a
ensuing,
back door, so to speak.
A trail of breadcrumbs.
Ghostista says that only us would be able to notice.
Exactly.
It's conjecture, but it makes logical sense.
You know, it also, if we run into any other people who are just willing to give out their backups, I wonder, is this just us that was affected, or was this more of a widespread something that happened on the station? I mean, could other people have been affected by this sort of thing? But they would never think to examine it.
I believe if we can find more answers once we reach our destination, more clues, maybe we can use that data to correlate with what we have.
If in fact we did this to ourselves, it would be logical then that we would also have knowledge of how to either reverse it or access it. So then, how would we access something we hid?
And if it was a third party, it means that those are hints to find them.
Correct.
I think it's very clear that the reason that we didn't back up in the last 3 months, isn't it? The system pretty much is rigged. I will say they are manipulating our minds and memories, and we are 3-month-olds backups. Who knows if there are a fork of ourselves outside? The version that was without the backup. And we're just catching up.
This could be possible.
We only have so much evidence, and we can only speculate so far.
We should start making proper precautions then. I think, please, Van.
We might be able to, if we make frequent backups and updates, we may be able to track any corruption that occurs, any new corruption at least, or unveil
Or at
old
least
ones.
maintain a protected list of checksums of all of our backups just to detect any tampering.
Yeah.
And use any
Yes.
programs you wish to protect.
All of the ones that I have relating to prior employment.
M squared speaks up. The backup system on this ship is completely isolated. It has no outside mesh or wireless connections. The only connection to and from it is the scanning device and the hookup that leads directly to the biomorph storage to transfer memories into the new bodies as you transfer over.
I think this is the safest that we'll get.
I will contemplate.
How likely do we believe that this corruption spreads? And that is its purpose.
We have further data. I do not know.
Is any of this enough? Were we not doing any of this before?
Unsure.
We might want to keep an eye on people around us then. The ones that might be in a similar state of memories, but also the ones that might be looking for people in such a state as well.
Have we searched the ship for any clues anywhere for anything that would seem abnormal?
Yeah, we did.
It's a full scan. That's how
And-
I
I
revealed
mean,
the
like personal hidden clues that a scan might not pick up.
Moho went to check on the electronics and things like that of the ship. Didn't pick up anything.
Understood. Understood.
Storyteller or GM,
That works. Either one works.
whoever you are. Is there a way that Kadaf would know if it is common to smuggle information in consciousness like files? Is that something that Kadaf can ask Atal, their muse, or a role that we can make?
And because memory can be mapped, it is actually pretty simple that you could store data, lock the section of data off into a preconceived signal or passphrase or event happens to release the data back out. I mean, we're talking well beyond Johnny Mnemonic levels of technology at this point. So if memories can be edited, they could also be locked away and kept segmented. Now, it would show up as a segmented area if you scanned for it. People would be able to see that you have data locked away and most likely encrypted, of course, if you're going to do it that way. They'd be able to tell it's there, but wouldn't be able to tell the contents of it.
And when Fen did their scan,
They
would have
didn't
come
see
up.
anywhere that looked like it was
Okay.
a locked off area. It just seems like the corruption is honestly like fragments and leftover bits of files, that something was erased, but not fully erased, or something was files were interposed on each other that overrode each other in odd places, but didn't completely replace each other. So it wouldn't be the same as hidden information.
Okay. We will consider this some more.
I'm out of ideas. It seems that we'll have to arrive at the place and try and get as much info there as we can.
We agree.
Anyway, pulling up a current events going on Better Than Vacuum, just so we know what we're getting into on at least what's publicly advertised.
I mean, there's a lot of XP experience recordings, and basically it's equivalent of almost VR, but you get to experience what the person's experiencing. Some of them even down to feeling the emotions and the other parts of the experience. And those are pretty popular on the mesh right now. It's mainly a lot of partying. A lot of people like to live vicariously through experiencing the drugs without actually doing them. So you can find live real time going on in the place of just nonstop parties, especially as you're getting closer to it. So you don't have the light speed lag and the days, sometimes the lag can get pretty long. There is one of them happens to be the it's called the Atmosphere Club. It kind of matches the Better Than Vacuum, where it's advertised the party never ends. And it has a 24/7 rotating share of experiences of people in there who want to share what they're doing. And it is a gratuitous display of hedonism and debauchery.
Since we are approaching, do we have any knowledge of the security system at this place, since it is apparently closed off? Or are we able to identify the weak points in the parameter of this area?
I can further research into that. Need be. Probe into their state of defense. Maybe not hack into it, but get a lay of the land.
Correct. For instance, if there is a lack of security at certain points around the different clubs where one could physically sneak in.
I will
Need
point
be.
out this is a scum swarm that values independence and doing whatever you want as long as you're not hurting others. Security is, well, I guess non-existent would be the way to put it. They handle their own security. If you harm somebody else, basically everybody there turns on you at once. They police themselves that way. So you don't have to worry about security. You'll be shocked that if they even check you for weapons as you're coming into the ship. When you board the scum swarm, which is, a linked 5 or 6 ships all strapped together and linked up.
Understood.
We're still about a day away, you said?
Yep, you're about a day away.
Make any preparations you need during the day for when we arrive.
I'm hungry. I believe we need to eat if we have human form first.
It's wise.
I shall go find some food.
And you can go down to the printer. It's a 3D printer, but it prints pretty much everything, including food. Just about anything you can imagine can be printed up with it, as long as it doesn't take too exotic of materials. You don't happen to have a stash of uranium to build nuclear weapons on your ship, unfortunately, though your drive does operate on antimatter, so we'll leave that one right where it stands. The beauty of this technology in this era is, what do you have to want when you can print whatever you need? Your printer is big enough to print things about, 0.5 meter by 0.5 meter in size, which means even small arms can be printed in it. Just nothing gigantic, like bodies, major, military grade equipment. Otherwise, you can print most anything.
Well, you can print parts of a much larger
Yes, you
device.
could. And assemble. Oh, yes.
Sang is going to go print a steak, an old delicacy of what used to be called Earth, as well as some potatoes. So she'll walk off to go do so.
Moho is also going to the printer. He's going to print some coffee.
And the cup.
Assumingly, yes.
The beauty is you don't have to keep silverware because when you're done, everything goes back in recycled. It's broken back down to its component parts and fed right back in to be the next things you need printed. It's a highly efficient system.
Does that include the waste?
Everything can be broken down into the molecular parts
Figured.
that make it. Everything.
Please, can you cue me up a fruit platter, watermelon, banana? I tire of this herbivorous body, but I don't think my stomach could handle anything more exciting right now.
What, Boris?
Are you still recovering from your adventure with your morph?
Oh, I bet that morph would be enjoying a fat, juicy steak right now, but still an herbivore.
Oh,
That's a euphemism.
I got the joke.
I did not intend a joke, but if you read one, I will laugh with you.
Ha ha ha.
Oh, well. Enjoy our final hours of, shall we call it, crew leave before the work, ironically, in the party dome, the scum swarm.
Oh,
I'll be in my bunk.
I'll keep the printer a little more busy for this time.
And GM, would it be reasonable for me to have asked my muse, Murthan, to have been scanning any possibilities for any of their, partial traces of my activity in the last few months?
Sure. Muse can pick through things. Checking the mesh for anything mentioning your name, anything like that, doing general searches for you.
Yeah.
Okay, sure.
You want me to roll anything for that?
No, it'll go on in the background.
Okay.
Very well. Moho is going to start printing tech components because he's actually going to try and assemble something. It will be a quick scan. Simple. He's going to make it possible to imprint data on it, just so they can better see if other people with similar holes in their minds are close by.
It's going to be hard without having access to their brain scans. You won't be able to tell if they've got holes or not. The only way to get access to their brain scans would be to hook them up to a scanner that would back them up. Now, if you want to print up a portable scanner, you can go ahead and print up one of those. It's just a set of trodes that go around the head.
Yeah, the idea is if we get people willing to do that, we can do that on the fly.
Sure. You're going to print up a set of trodes. Once everybody's done eating, you're going to have it start printing you up an interface for scanning the brain. Sounds good.
Sang is going to complete eating and then approach Fen. Fen.
Yes.
I would not mind if you did the scan. However, I would like a copy of what you find, and whatever you find, names of individuals, you keep to yourself. Is that agreeable?
It is.
My prior employment required delicacy and a great deal of secrecy. There's many names, and it could risk my survival. Understood?
I understand. Any names or any information that you wish to keep secret shall remain secret.
Thank you. You may do the scan.
And I get the back up and scan hers to see if it matches up anything else.
Her scans match the corruption of everybody else, like spot for spot. Each corrupted area matches the exact corrupted area of somebody else's. The content isn't always the same. It's different garbage in there, but it's an identical pattern when you look at the areas that are corrupted of the backup of the file compared to, the non-corrupted sections.
You seem to be similar to the rest of our crew.
There is
Spots that line up.
nothing additionally missing?
From what I have scanned. No. And any names, any destinations, any secrets I can delete from my memory. Which do you wish for me to do so?
Yes.
Done.
Thank you.
So actually at this point, I haven't done what I'm actually initially programmed for, which is finances. Any trends during the time that we have missed, any markets that were more invested in the past 3 months?
There is the solar stock exchange. It actually uses quantum communications to do instant real-time stock trades through the solar system. It's the only one. It's actually run by most of the inner system because I'll be fair, The anarchist groups and the scum squirms say fuck money, it don't matter.
Right.
They don't really care about that. I will say that the local trend that you're seeing now is Cognite stock has taken a massive tumble, as is most of the consortium stocks on the market. Apparently, these rumors about an issue on Paradise Station has caused all their shit to tumble.
And this is just within the past day.
Yeah, that's when the rumors came out.
So how about during the times that we have gaps in our memory?
You don't see anything anomalous. It's the standard ups and downs and swings based on new products announced. Kenneth, you had a question for your muse.
We do. We were also heading down to get something to eat, but we have this very strange feeling. So we stop and we summon up Atal. Atal,
Yes,
we need a verification. Sensory.
of course.
Is there someone or something just behind us or present with us here? You and I.
I detect no other entities in your presence. Scanning through your mesh network, there are no outside connections coming in that could explain it. There is no riders on your tactical network, so there is nobody behind you as far as I can tell, and nobody is currently hacked into you, at least from my basic glance at your connections.
When you and I are speaking, are we separate or the same?
That's actually very philosophical at times. Oh, I am an independent entity. I am an artificial limited intelligence designed to serve the ego I am attached to. I do have my own memory banks. I do have my own drives and desires, which are generally programmed to help you and to do whatever you need done to help make your life more acceptable and more enjoyable. But I'm not a physical being. I am just a computer program at its core, one that just runs inside your own implants.
Do you sense what I sense? What we collectively sense?
No, I only can see exactly what's around you. I don't have any kind of my sense of perception comes from your own mesh and scanning out what your mesh sees. So were you to look somewhere to the side or shut your mesh off, turn off all of your external devices, I would have no visibility at all outside of you. I wouldn't know what's going on.
We must have had this conversation at some point, yet I do not remember. You then sense this presence that I do simply because we are sensing it.
I sense you. I don't sense any other presence other than you.
Very good.
Are you feeling or seeing somebody that I am not? Is there a problem with our mesh systems?
We are uncertain at the present moment. We have a sense of someone or something just here or here. Points generally at the main brain part of the mantle. Watching, observing.
That is most disturbing. That is, as far as my understanding of not just your species, but biological beings in general, that is not normal and normally a sign of either trauma or something else wrong. Chemical imbalance, perhaps?
Wrongness, yes. We are going to, having had this little conversation, if Atal is still reading, we are going to half turn as if to face, even though we can see what's back there. Like, you're going to half turn as if turning towards something and say aloud, announce yourself, and say it aloud and mentally.
Nothing
see what happens.
answers, but for just a second, it's the briefest of time. You can hear the heartbeat of your morph. You can hear the printer printing something for Mohill. You can hear Talfrin moving around the ship. All these little sounds come in. You also can, oddly enough, hear the sound of the drive, which normally you don't hear at all. These ships are designed so you can't hear it at all. But suddenly you can hear it. And I want to double check your morph real fast, because I know each morph has different things mounted in them. Let me look. Yep, wrong thing to pull up. I want to double check because I'm pretty sure your morph has improved. No, you don't have improved hearing, but you do have 360-degree vision. So, but you're hearing much more than you should, only 2 seconds maybe. And then that extra sound is just lost.
Did you sense that at all? The sound?
I sensed you asked for someone to identify themselves, but there was no
Nothing.
no response. No other sounds were transmitted, at least on any frequency band that I can detect.
Did you hear us hearing the drive of the ship?
Kadeth, you won't be able to hear the drive. It is insulated enough that, and it is also well below the frequency range that only the most specialized morph would ever be able to detect.
Indeed. Thank you.
Of
You've
course.
been very helpful. I think we are going to go see Mohel now. Fish can wait.
Just ask when you need me. I am always here.
I will.
So, as Kadeth is doing that, we got time for one more scene before break. What's everybody else doing on the ship right now?
Sang has completed eating and is walking from room to room, just doing a visual check, almost as if she is used to memory loss and she's trying to fill the gaps, just looking around.
I mean, even with all your gaps, the ship does seem to be exactly as you remember it being laid out. Even Talfrin's kind of habit of sticking things in odd places in case he needs to grab them in a hurry. He's still got that Brinker isolationist kind of a feel where when he knows he may need to make and cut and run, he doesn't want to have to look for something. He's used to doing things by himself. So he stashes things in odd places of your ship in case he needs to get to them quickly. So even those are in the right places.
She passes by a mirror that is in one of the personal rooms, hers, and stares at it for a moment as if she's not sure what she's looking at, sort of.
As you look into the mirror, you're seeing your face looking back at you. And then there's a face looking at you that is not yours, but it is The only way to describe it is there's two faces superimposed on each other, yours and another, staring back at you. It's only there for a second. And then
She's
you're
gonna-
staring at yourself again.
Reach forward as if she's going to touch the glass. So she's touching the glass and doing side to side to see if it comes back.
Nope. Now you're only seeing you, and it's the exact reflection that you would expect to see.
She's going to turn and head to Finn.
Okay.
Finn,
Yes, you require my assistance again?
I do. I need you to pull my memory from the last 15 minutes. I need you to see when I was looking at the mirror in my room, were there two images, two reflections, or one? Can you pull that memory and stop it right as there are two, if there are two?
I will make an attempt. I do just that. I take up
A backup.
a backup from just the past 15 minutes of her touring the ship, and then stopping and then focusing on her room and her mirror in that moment that she said she saw another face.
So you take and go into a backup. Now, for this one, you step into a VR setting of seeing what she was seeing in that moment, where it's now, granted, you won't be able to see anything she wasn't looking at, but you can see when you do that, her standing in front of the mirror. And just as she said, there were two faces in that mirror just for a second, hers and another.
I freeze it. Can I make a more of a scan and make it more like a 3D model? And
You can only get 2D off it. I mean, you could extrapolate the backsides, but you could take her current face, attempt to remove it from the image to see what was left over. It won't be perfect, but it'll give you a general idea.
Right. I shouldn't take 3D. It would be just removing anything that isn't Sanger.
The face, it's like I said, it's not perfect. It's when you pull Sanger off it, you lose a lot of the detail, but the face that is looking back is definitely not Sanger's face. Sanger's face, well, first of all, Sanger's not a man. That's the first dead giveaway. And Sangri doesn't have a hardness to the eyes, or there's almost a sneer on the face looking back.
I make a note on all the little details and make a copy. And I like to, with any databases that I could find for possibly criminal or people on the run, or maybe any other kind of, I shouldn't say government, but
You're going to go and search facial databases.
More easily accessible ones first.
I mean, Mesh has a lot of that. You're in the era of everybody recording everything for every reason. So you can give me a research test. Now, it will take time to search it, but I'll see what your role is to tell you when you find anything, if you find anything.
I got research track specialization. It didn't.
No, I don't think track would apply for that one.
Yeah, I don't think
track would probably apply more for trying to locate the movement of someone. Now, I will tell you though, remember, since bodies are interchangeable, the face you're looking at, the person could be not using that face anymore. But it's a good search. It's a start.
Would I
Okay.
be able to see what he found, and would I recognize the
I'd be
person?
sharing this with.
Oh, he'd be able to pull it
Carmen.
right out.
Yeah.
Would I recognize this person?
No. Never seen them.
If that was looking back at me, then it was looking through my eyes. So then it whatever that is connected to me. Would that be a fair assumption?
Yes.
So then that face is looking at you.
Or
So what
everyone
is
that you have encountered.
so what is hooked up or inside me that you did not catch on a scan?
I can run it by the rest of the crew and see if they have any recognize this, whatever is left of the details of this particular face. I can send them to this, to their individual meshes and ask the query. And I'll do that. I'll send that file and is this face recognizable to any of you? And I explain the details of
Okay.
what,
Because, you can send it right through the mesh to everybody here. They can view it pop right up on their vision if they want.
Yep, and I'll explain the singer's
I will tell the crew,
encounter.
None of you have seen that face before. Not a one.
How about M squared?
That face is not recognizable to me. Granted, I don't normally see a lot of faces other than yours. I don't get out of the ship much. You might say I'm stuck here. And the ship laughs, which is an odd thing to hear a ship laugh.
So, question, is what we saw an image, or was it essentially alive?
There was no movement on the face, right? It wasn't like change. There's no subtle like hints of like.
No, it just was there.
Just like a.
Yep.
Like a mask right there, and for a second.
What would happen if it is looking through you and I am using my senses through it? What do you think would happen? Would it become obvious if we turned off all my senses completely? Would
Possibly
it
nothing.
make a move?
There's only one way to find out.
Kadeth, you had something to say?
Having got this information over the mesh, we send back Sanger. We have sensed something we should not have sensed.
And you
Does
all
anyone
receive,
else?
You all receive a message that makes 3.
To Fenn's image he sent, I respond with the thumbs down emoji.
Since we have time before we go, could we turn off my hearing and sight just for a moment to see if whatever it is connected, does something interesting?
Moho is going into the direction of the cryopods and he's going to swap to his observer morph.
Okay. You're going to transfer over to the other one, which isn't quite the same as a backup. But as you're leaving the 3D printing area, you do kick off a job to print. You don't know what the hell you're printing. You just kicked it off.
He is aware, but he is not going to stop.
Okay,
He
you're
has to see
switching
what
over
happens.
to your more analytical morph. And I think right here, everybody's going to be a good spot to go to break. The game is afoot. We will see everybody in 10 minutes. Please enjoy the break, and you'll get to see a little bit about who these characters are because that's in the break bios. See you in 10 minutes, everybody. Welcome back, everybody. Before the break, they've been delving into this mystery as weird thing is happening to multiple people on this ship. Very odd things. Somebody watching over Kadeth's shoulders. Sangri sees a face in a mirror that's not theirs. Mohel is building something and he doesn't know what he's building. He's just printing the parts for it now. And that's on top of the strange dreams that are going on. Kadeth, who were you? You were going to see Mohel, weren't you?
We were.
You find them coming out of your storage, your morph storage, in his observer's morph.
You have made a change.
Indeed. Not my preferred, but I believe the situation calls for it.
Yes. Perhaps it does. Are you well?
Apparently, I am building something.
Something?
The lack of information was indeed a choice. I do not know what I am building.
Shall we accompany you? And
Of course.
we may ask our question.
Please ask away.
With the strangeness that has gone on, have you been hearing your ship? The drive, the components, intermittently?
I have not.
We suspected that this would be your answer.
M squared.
Yes.
Is there any possibility any of us would be hearing the mechanical parts of your work?
No, these ships are, especially this ship, this is a not just a courier ship, but it is considered a high-speed transport. In many cases, it's a luxury item for anyone wishing to travel this way. We are designed specifically to not allow anyone to hear any of the outside noises because that might actually negatively impact their experience riding with you.
Consider that one of us, despite all odds, has heard. What would be your explanation as to how?
I do not believe that is possible. As far as I'm aware, Kadeth has no morphs that are designed to hear into the subsonic ranges.
And yet,
So
perhaps it is something like what Sangar has experienced.
I can tell you the ship's drive runs at a exact 11 hertz frequency range. There is no way you could have heard that.
However, what would be through her ears can.
I actually have a question. And he is going to turn to his muse. Moho actually haven't named his
You just call it Muse.
Muse, yeah. He ain't got time for that. And his goes, Muse.
Yes.
You are proficient with knowledge about psychology, aren't you?
That is correct. I am part of my underlying programs. It's the only way I can help anticipate your needs at any point.
Do pay attention to my behavior and analyze. I am under the suspicion that I might be with some type of dissociative disorder. as impulses and memories, not completely mine, but not too foreign, are taking hold.
Looking over your past and what little I can see from even my corrupted memories, I'm going to point out that whatever you're printing, you actually programmed that into the printer. I'm not aware that you had the skill to program biological forms into a printer. I am not aware that you were an artist of any kind when it comes to that, and yet you have designed on the fly the commands to print something without even drawing it out in a software first.
Does it classify as a possibility then?
I can't explain where you would have done that. It could be a side effect of the corruption. Maybe it triggered a latent creative side that you didn't know you had.
Keep a close eye in my behavior as well as any information from my crewmates on the background.
Of course.
And Moho is going to keep going with Kadef into direction, I believe, of the printing machine. He wants to see what his mind has created.
What is currently being printed, what's shown on the screen, it's an oblong cylinder. It is definitely biological in nature. It has nerve endings. It has a rudimentary circulatory system. But it also, you're printing with it. There's an interface on one end. And on the other end of it, you don't know what it is. It is some sort of device, but you don't know what it's going to be used for. You've never seen that pattern before.
Roguery? I assume you're very familiar with the arts, aren't you? Design, things like that.
I spent perhaps 2 decades acquiring 4 different degrees in multiple forms of visual, multimedia, auditory arts. But that really is only scratching the surface of all. I suppose so.
Well, he sends Roguery detailed scan and pictures of this thing. Give me your evaluation.
It's not an art piece.
Ooh, I don't. Do I recognize this as anything? I mean,
It's definitely not art. You've also,
I'll make my best assessment.
normally when you're doing printing tech with biological things, they're printed separately and then attached together. That's how the cyberware is done. That's how meshware is done. That's how even nanoware that's done with nanos assembled on something. Normally you don't print it as a solid unit. This is definitely, I mean, I guess maybe you could call it avant-garde art of some kind, but it's not big enough. It's not fancy enough. I mean, it wouldn't even rate, even nobody would even give it a bad review. They just wouldn't review it.
It's certainly something. Whether or not it's art is, I can't say what is not art unless I'm being paid handsomely. But this, it's hard to call it patterns. If there's a pattern, I could derive something from it, or somebody could. Technology, biological.
Well,
I'm lost.
If it has an on button, can you just push the button and turn it on?
well, I don't see a reason why not.
It's not done
And he's-
printing. It'll take, it's rather complex. It'll take another 6 hours to print, but
As soon as it's finished.
We can all see the software rendering of it, right?
oh yeah, you can
If we
see
were-
what it shows you what it is. And I'll tell you, none of you can make sense of it. It actually makes no sense. The interface, it's a clear interface. It is not a standard interface of any kind you've ever seen. You're not aware of anywhere in the ship you could plug that into.
I'll see if I can match any, database to see what this represents. Any similar things that have been printed before, and any maybe more medical or industrial catalogs.
Okay.
I have a question. If we are all connected, which it seems we're all connected on the mesh,
Oh, you have a tactical net where you're all able to freely share between each other. You can even view through each other's eyes if you want to share what you're seeing.
can I shut mine completely off, all hearing, all visual,
I
from
mean, you could,
everyone else?
yeah, you can terminate your tac net so that it's just you. Only way you can stop your vision is to close your eyes. You can't turn your eyes off. You'd have to be in a synth morph to do that, which is a robotic body.
Ben,
Hmm.
I'm going to shut off the mesh and close my eyes to try to isolate whatever it is that's active within myself. Could you be here with me in case something strange occurs?
Yes, but I have been pondering, and I'm coming to a strange conclusion. If this is a presence, an intelligence affecting our subconscious or our equivalent of subconscious, are we trying to make it come to life by creating a new body and inserting its self into it?
A possibility, however, me seeing a different face in a mirror is not a subconscious. That is a consciousness because it takes a form that also you can see.
Correct. Well, in that instance would be your conscious memory. But if it's something happening in our corrupted data and there's something active within it, it is trying to have us basically make it a body or make it in one way or another, make it alive. But I can do as what you request. In the meantime, that was only a hypothesis of mine, gathering by what has recently occurred.
If it is using the mesh for us to spy on each other, if I turn that off, I'm just wondering what would happen. I am no longer one of the arms being utilized. I am a loose end.
We can make this do this experiment if you wish. I will observe and
It may do nothing, or more clues.
that's why it's an experiment.
Where would you like to do this? You can scan me simultaneously while I shut down.
You would like to, in front of a mirror, maybe I can detect something as you shut down.
Then let us go to the place I usually reside. I will stand in front of the mirror, shut the mesh, and close my eyes. So she will walk to that room and stand in front of the mirror.
Yeah, I kind of just appear in that room.
Okay.
And Sang will just completely isolate herself off from any
Okay, you shut off all your
allowable way.
external connections.
Everything, and then she closes her eyes and just stands for a few minutes.
And anytime I'm doing any scans necessary to any unusual patterns.
Okay, let me see here. That's not the right one. As you're standing there, eyes closed, thinking on that face, for a second there, it hits you in a wave, an urge to break something, to smash the mirror, to tear somebody limb from limb, to hurt, to injure. And then it's gone. And I'm going to give you 5 stress for that.
And she'll open her eyes, almost just instinctively, pull the arm back, punch forward, and bust the mirror.
Okay.
Arm back, down.
Did I pick up anything?
No.
That you saw her
Curious.
do it.
Oh, yes. I mean, scan-wise, as all that is happening.
Yep. There was no signals or no outside anything. It was just no change from them. Sangri just had their eyes closed and then the next minute opened them and punched the glass. The feeling washes away from you now. You don't feel the urge to break anything or to inflict harm.
But I remember the feeling.
Oh, yes.
If they were
Why
to
did
do
you
it,
do that?
I felt angry, hurt, sad, panicked, scared, wanting to hurt something, anything. I felt in the dark.
It is projecting whatever this other entity is, its emotions to that, since you shut off all senses. And of course, it was in the dark.
It did not like that at all.
Look at the broken mirror. No, it did not.
Looked at her hand and it's got cuts in the glass.
You may wish to have that taken care of.
I think so.
It'll
Would it
heal
be
itself
bene-
shortly.
Would it be beneficial if you can read emotions off of a scan to scan again?
I didn't pick your specific emotions, those specific emotions from the scans. My scans are mostly information based and like financial and digital. Biological functions aren't my repertoire. That's what they would say. But
And
I can download any programs and make my best attempt.
understood. It does not like to be in the dark.
So we see. I can put this data and add it to the rest of our collection, as it were.
Agreed. Thank you.
Happy to be of service. Do we inform the rest of the crew on what just occurred?
Yes, it probably would be beneficial if they shut off access. Their response could be similar or different. Mine relates a lot to my prior employment. Would their reaction be the same?
M2 speaks up. Sangria, how did you break that mirror?
I punched it.
That mirror should not be able to be broken by a biomorph like yours. That was made of a reflective aluminum alloy.
I cannot explain.
Perhaps the adrenaline, based on the emotions that you felt, the intense anger, triggered something physiological and enhanced something. I cannot say.
That could be possible.
Just to clarify, are those informations being sent to all of us?
Yeah, I think eventually, once the procedure was done, he would just send all the data and what happened. You probably some of you might hear broken, glass shattering. It depends on where you were on the ship.
Oh, it would echo through the corridors considering she broke aluminum.
It appears Moha will look at Kidif. Things are getting out of control.
Yes. We wonder at the wisdom of testing this with each one of us.
I cannot say I approve. We appear to be risking much. And if our own minds are playing tricks, and even the morphs cannot be trusted, it seems that something bigger than a fear of virus is at play here.
Something. Perhaps even something new? Something unknown. We are an entity of multiple brains. Other biologics, very sadly, only one. Perhaps the analogy of something utilizing multiple arms, and we, the crew, being the arms, is not so incorrect. Each arm must have a purpose. We operate independently. But we must be able somehow to know what operates us. Some method of communication, contact.
Some type
Whatever
of
this
connection.
is, indeed, whatever this is, it doesn't seem unable or unwilling to communicate.
It
Thank you.
certainly doesn't like to be tested.
Ben, has my biology changed? In other words, if I cannot physically do this, supposedly, has my physical attributes, bone structure, flesh changed?
It is a possibility, but maybe only in that moment.
M2 speaks up. You could always report down to the auto doc in the med bay and have it run a scan.
I think I will do that to see if any improvements have been made without my knowledge.
Okay.
Sang will just walk down.
Go down to the medical bay. Because you've got a great artificial limited intelligence that runs your meta bay, an auto doc, they're called normally. You actually have two different ones. You have one that deals with physical bodies, and you actually have one, you might even call it an engineer, a medical engineer. It's made to repair synthetic morphs, to reverse injuries on them. So while you're going down to do that, it's still printing, whatever it is.
Actually going to try. I know it does not make sense, right? There's no prior knowledge I have that might make sense of it. But can I try and guess what it does?
Sure, you can try. I mean, I'll always let you roll something. Hardware electronics roll. That sounds like a good one.
Okay, let's see if I can do something about that.
I mean, you got a good score. You got an 80 in that skill. You got a success. It's obvious it's got an interface end. You don't know what would fit into it. But with the electronics on the other side, it is obvious that it's meant to plug into something to enable communication through whatever it is.
Some kind of biological transmitter, or
It would have been
I
a lot
don't know.
easier to just print it as an electronic device, I'll be fair, but that's not what you designed.
Yeah. Not connected in a way that we normally use. And I would say, if I am to guess, this is some kind of transmitter. Once connected, it will allow for communication. And Moha is transmitting this to everyone. Which means
Biological transmitter.
Has Sanger and Finn's conversation about what happened in her quarters with the air been made open to everyone else?
Yeah.
Was Finn was transmitting? Because Sangri was
Yeah,
set off.
as soon as she broke the
Okay. Because I just had a memory just come to mind, slammed in, of something that happened. Also, something that happened out of anger. It's kind of bizarre. It's a memory of a friend of mine that I killed. Just in a fit of anger over, I don't even know what, maybe they just bumped into me.
Would that memory fit something you would do?
That's I have anger issues, but not like that, I thought.
That seems excessive. Is that a memory or a remembered dream, Talfrin? Please open up to us.
It's in the course of the execution of my occupation that I break things, whatever it is at hand. But it seems unreasonable that I would have done so to a friend. But it's a very vivid memory.
perhaps the shutting off of Sanger's senses and the anger it transmitted, it also transmitted to you, and it manifested in the form of a possible memory.
Right. I don't recall this ever happening in really.
And Sang will turn back on her senses. So everything is back on now. We are back.
Glad to have you back, Sanger.
Yes.
Talfrin, are you alone right now?
Yes, I was in my
Okay.
quarters.
Okay, I'm just checking. No reason.
Uh-huh.
Let's test a theory.
Did you have your senses when you were experiencing this memory? Did you have
To who are you asking?
Talfin?
Oh, yeah. Yes.
So you,
It just shoved itself right into mind. But it seemed to have happened just about at the same instant as it's angry when she shut off.
What is
Mine-
the possibility that our little connection of meshes, the one thing connecting us all, was utilized and
So then-
somehow. Hmm?
Go ahead.
I find it strange that I found the instinct to build something, some type of information I don't have. Kenneth was also complaining about feeling observed. You felt and saw a face, and then a reaction happened to you and subsequently to Doffrin. I assume something similar is going to happen to Fen and Roglery. And we also have the corruption in the exact same spots in our minds.
So what if someone else shut off their senses and see who else feels from that?
Testing is a risky avenue. We saw what one did.
Survival is risky, and we are all missing parts of it.
perhaps this biological transmitter that you printed, well, it's not complete, has still some sort of function to it. That it was able to pick up on the anger that Sanger experienced and transmitted it to Talfrin as well. Copied
It's
it.
not done yet.
Yes. But maybe if some part of it is functional, possibly not. But there's something to consider at least. We have to,
We have so many clues and at the same time so little to go off of. I am in my observer mode. I will be trying scanning and observing and picking up as much information as possible. But I don't think there is any.
well, we still have to go to, what was it, better than vacuum?
Better than vacuum. Yep.
Better than vacuum.
I believe any external clues would be helpful to retrieve. Are we trying to retrieve Sanger's old body? From
No,
there?
you were going there because you had told the
The
ship
job.
that you were there for looking. You were going there to speak about a job. That's what you told the ship, at least, or at least that's what the ship told you.
I know of eidetic triggers to memories to places that we are familiar with. Well, it did not trigger in our ship. It is always a possibility to put in this station, and something new would reveal itself, or someone would recognize us, and we'll paste any of these clues together somehow.
Sangri asks a question. Do we have any kind of writing utensil and any kind of, I think they called it paper or something to write on?
I'm sure it's somewhere around the ship.
Or if you cannot find it, one can be printed. Once.
I have plenty of supplies in my stateroom.
Can I have some?
Sure, have a pencil, have paper. I've got more than enough.
So I should go to your stateroom and get it.
Be my guest. I don't think I have any reservations about anybody just entering.
Sangri, as you're going to the stateroom, all the cabins, all the places you all have for your rooms are all pretty much next to each other. You walk past Talfrin, who's in his room at the moment, his quarters. And as you're walking past, suddenly you're in a lush garden. At your feet, you see the body of a friend. It's not one of your crewmates. You don't recognize the person, but you know they're a friend. And you know you just killed them in an act of anger because they had bumped into you. And then the vision is gone.
Did Talfrin see me standing there?
Oh, I'm sure you stopped moving when that happened.
Talfrin?
Yes, I agree.
Did you see a person at my feet?
When? Just now?
Yes.
No.
There is no dead body there, correct?
Not at the moment, no. Why, did you think there would be?
I saw it.
Because that was part of the memory and vision that I saw. I looked down and saw a friend of mine at my
In a
feet.
garden.
Yes, exactly.
And you killed them.
Yes.
So did I.
And in a fit of anger over something very real trivial, like they bumping
into you.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. You just had that too?
Yes. This is not our memories.
Oh,
Something
I'm glad to
else
hear that.
is giving us both their memory.
And it seems to be exactly the same, scene for scene.
It is. I'm getting some paper and I want to sit and close my eyes, kind of, and picture that person's face.
Don't shut off everything again. That
I
didn't
won't.
go well.
But
Okay.
I want them, if they are operating me, to use my hand to write or draw something as a method of communication.
Okay.
Maybe.
Worth a try.
Want to watch?
Sure.
So she'll go get some paper and she'll come back to his room and find a place to sit and just sit so they're hand holding
Okay.
the utensil. And she'll just kind of keep the mesh kind of open and kind of squint her eyes like they're kind of closed, but not. And she'll picture the guy's face. Okay, write or draw anything. And it's almost like she's spacing out kind of, but
You don't draw that face. You draw a room. And in this room, somebody's been torn apart. There's pieces of them everywhere.
and when she finishes, she'll open her eyes wide. I don't know what that is, but what is inside of me drew that.
What is that exactly? What's your interpretation?
A room with a body ripped in pieces.
That's what I thought. Okay.
Something has been killed. I don't think I did that. But whatever is running my head made me draw that.
Interesting. That whatever it is just barely subliminal. No one, do you have a spare piece? A favor.
Yes. But next one. Hand it and hand the pencil and stand so that he can sit.
Okay. And I will try to perform the same, being an open vessel for see what comes through.
As your hand scribbles on the paper, blackening from one side to the other. And the moment you do it, a sense of impending dread, a sheer terror at whatever it is in that darkness and that nothingness crashes through you.
That's it.
That's it. Your heart is now racing. I mean, it is a terror that seeps to the bone.
I just had the most terrifying, just blackness and darkness crashed through, but I have no idea what it was about. And it's affecting me.
Are you okay?
I'm okay. I'm not unused to it.
So something is using us as a vessel to communicate, but we do not know if it is a past action or
Right.
a future dreaded action. Other
Right.
words,
An implanted
guilt
directive.
and or pain or fear. Which emotion did you feel the most?
Just terror.
Fear of upcoming then.
Just raw fear. It didn't seem to differentiate between anticipation or what had already happened.
Thank you.
Sure.
She'll collect her paper and start walking to the main room where the others are.
And I'll follow.
Okay.
She'll place the paper right on one of the counters. This was communicated by whatever's in my head. She'll drop the paper.
I don't know what to make of this. Is this what you desired?
No, something told me and took my hand to draw this. It is body parts, bloody in a room.
I've felt that way often, that something these things in our head, you know why they call them muses?
They're amusing.
It's ancient Terran stuff, old. It's believed that there was spirits, animalistic things from beyond in our brains. We don't know. Other ideas that would tell us what to express, that they became from gods, from ghosts. That is what the spirit, the being that we call the muse, is named for. An expression, it can often come from within ourselves, but in the old legends, the muse also came from without. Did you feel it was something from within or something from without?
Something from without. In other words, I squinted my eyes and allowed it to use me to talk on the paper. And I told it verbally to draw or write. And it started to do so and drew that.
Oh, yeah.
Sanger,
Yes.
the room in your drawing,
Yes.
have a sense of what kind of room, what building it might be in, what purpose the room has other than holding these body parts.
Would I know this storyteller person?
When asked that, you realize the room you're seeing, it was a recreation room of some kind. You don't know what kind of recreation, but it was a recreation room of some kind.
Some kind of recreation room. I do not know what kind.
Hmm.
The body.
Moho will actually lean a little closer, and I do have medicine forensics. I know it's just for drawing, but I'll try to see what I can gather from the drawing in regards to the forensics of the whole thing, how it happened, how many people, when it happened,
One
things
person.
like that.
Your guess is they were a pod biomorph due to the markings on the body. So it was a body that was rapidly grown, but wasn't all human because they had to substitute some of the more complex things that are harder to make with mechanical parts to make it what's called a pod biomorph. But it's clear that this one was ripped completely apart, not sawn, not cut, but torn apart.
Like one of those Terran animals.
No, more like a monster, a beast. It wouldn't have been like an animal. An animal would have left claw marks. These didn't leave those kinds of marks. Your guess would be maybe some done by hand by somebody. There are morphs strong enough to do that.
Well, we'll look to Sanger.
This seems like a biopod torn to shreds. A single one.
Would a part of that you just printed piece of such a pod bio?
Would it classify?
It's a possibility. Though normally you print the body and then you print the parts separately, not as one piece. That is the oddity, the printing of one piece. And I know you're researching on that. Roger Leary, who has more of a background in art and stuff, you've heard, I'm going to assume you were doing a bit of search in the background while asked about it, assume some competence. You've heard of some people who trade in items like this, but it's highly illegal because normally whenever you are dealing with something that's a combination of bio and tech in one, it's considered Titan tech, which is highly illegal because, well, the Titans wiped out 95% of humanity. But they're gone. Trust me, they've left. That's what everybody says.
I'm thinking on that.
Yeah, think of how to break that news to everybody.
On a lighter note,
M-
when I had, after talking to Sangri about it, I performed the same thing, and this is what showed up for me: nothingness, darkness, oblivion.
Like out of space?
Dark
Mm,
space
no,
between.
there would have been stars. This was just completely dark.
This is a page covered in black from one end to the other.
It is like when she shut down her senses.
Do we believe whatever this is? Is it more friend or more foe?
Well, it let me give it a command to communicate, and it did.
And it
I-
seems it says it does not wish to be in oblivion.
And so sprinting itself here.
The medical bot, because you're down in the med bay having this conversation because Sangri was getting scanned. Finally, medical diagnosis complete. Detected elevated adrenaline levels. Also detected anomaly in brain waves.
In my brain waves?
Yes,
Where?
it's
Isolate,
located
please.
in the cerebral cortex. No data on what that anomaly is. It does not match anything in our database.
We cannot tell if it is biological or artificial.
It is a part of your brain. Shall I show you on the screen?
Yes, please.
And pops up on the screen, it's a brainwave map. It shows the different areas that are activated in your brain. And one section towards the front is a totally different color. It's a bright red. Those neurons there are firing in an abnormal pattern. They do not match any of the previous scans. Or I took the liberty of accessing Finn's data. It does not match anything of his data. Now, I cannot compare it to your backups, but there's nothing in the medical files that match that as you having that anomaly.
Can you run a list of information of the different facets of the brain in the frontal part, different components of either personality or behavior or memory that would have been or would be affected by any anomaly in that area?
The frontal lobe is your cognitive function.
The entire frontal lobe.
Oh, that particular section, particular section has been linked to aggression, violent outbursts. But again, it doesn't match any known patterns.
So if one of the other of us was to get this same physical scan, we could see if a different facet of their brain was activated other than mine.
I could run a scan and check, yes.
Any volunteers?
Sure, why not?
And as you put on the headband basically to let it scan your brain, because you're not doing a full scan like Sangri does, it comes back rather quickly. Anomalous brain waves detected.
At least there are some.
Where are they located?
Taufrin's location is in the part of the brain that covers what is termed the fight or flight response.
So our brains are experiencing different wavelengths in different areas, more associated with our own personality?
Not enough data to say.
I believe I have not scanned myself, or Glary, as well. Did you have anything you like to scan? Anything you wish to share?
I'd
Any experiences?
I'd like to sip my brain as well. I just had a feeling about those body parts, and I can't put a name on it.
When printed.
Put on the trodes, throw in my brain. The more data we get, the more thorough, the better.
Especially before we get to this location we are traveling to. We shouldn't be too far.
Oh, you have one more day. Well, it'll be the next day, but the autodoc comes back with scan complete. Anomalous brainwaves detected.
And which section this time?
Unfortunately, this is a section of the brain that is generally unused. Patterns do not match any known sapient life form.
Well, what do we make of that, Fen?
Well, you had a shorter scan. If you did a more thorough one, it might prove more results. But I will go through a similar scan for myself. For my go through each of my files and separate
Well,
sheets.
I mean, though you are digital infolife, you do have brain scan. You're designed to as closely emulate people as possible. Otherwise, you wouldn't be able to really interact well or use biomorph bodies that you transfer into. A digital scan shows brainwave functions normal. No anomalies detected.
How about my mental block made by my creator, the one that suppresses feelings of anger?
Programming matches existing programming. Brainwaves match previous medical history.
You have no physical body, correct?
No, I have inhabited synth bodies on occasion, but I prefer much
Synth
of
bodies
the-
normally have a cyber brain, which is very close, but not quite the same as a real brain.
But I have never experienced a biological form.
You don't know what you're missing.
Apparently, a lot of headache.
True. Next,
We will go. And we submit ourselves to the scan. At the same time that the scan is happening, we are internally sending, like, not out in the mesh, but like inside to ourselves and whatever else might be there. I am open to hearing what you have to say and what you wish to tell us. Which will probably light up a lot of other things in the scan.
And as you're doing that, you're looking around, you realize suddenly you can see the nanobots that crawl amongst the ship that is repairing the micro fractures and keeping the ship maintained. That scale of vision is not normal. Medical scan complete. Anomalous brain waves detected.
Elaborate.
Both of your multiple brains are showing signs of increased activity along the perception and sensory organ processors.
Interesting. And then we say to everyone, for a moment there, we were able to see the nanomachines of the ship going about their daily functions. This is not possible.
Did you share with us the hearing part as well?
Yes.
Before? Okay. This matches with your other sensory heightened experience with hearing.
And the scan seems to indicate that this is what is activated by this entity, whatever it may be. Perception.
Apparently, perception and behavior. Not only are we seeing and experiencing different things, but also many of our own actions seem to be unrelated.
I have a theory. If on our last experience, where we were apparently going to meet someone, what if, and this would be a lot of what ifs, what if we met someone injured or needed our help and their body was no longer usable? We all took a part of it with us back to our ship, and for their safety erased all memory other than rebuilding it here. Each one of us experiences a piece of it. Abnormal strength, abnormal senses. They are not part of us. They are part of it. And that once the pieces are put back together, it would leave us. It's a
GM.
long stretch, but
GM, did when we were first before we lost our memories, we were casting our consciousness
Ego
across
casting,
both
yes. You were sending your consciousness
so
moved
if
from
we
one place to another, yes.
sent it out and then captured some other entity in need, and we each took a piece, scrambled our senses, maybe used our bodies for a time. It is possible. It is trying to communicate in some way, whether it knows it or not. We each carry, like you said, just a piece of that individual.
GM, I would like to utilize my trait common sense.
Mm-hmm.
I would like to evaluate the clues that we got so far and decide the best course of action.
Aside from continuing your journey, because you'll find no firm answers on your trip. Trying to think of what to share. It may be possible to have the autodoc access the Martian medical database to see if there's anything in that database, because your autodoc only has a certain amount of knowledge. It's only as current as the last time it was updated and everything else. It might be able to find at least notes of this happening before.
Mohel sits back and says, I'm square.
Yes,
You are the main system of this ship. I assume you have seniority over the other systems.
I am the artificial intelligence that runs the ship, so you might say I'm the captain, but I take orders from the crew.
I would like you to command the artificial intelligence of our medical bay to prepare for receiving data. And he looks at Fen. I would like you to go into the direction of the Martian database with our research and try and download any information related to this possibility happening in the past so the medical bay can compare.
I will lift up the communications block that is kept on the medical bay so that it can access the Martian databases.
I will do this with the time we have left.
Augury would like, he's seated staring at these last two pieces of paper, examining them closely. He'd like to try to derive one thing from them. He looks into the patterns in the patterns of movement, the particular strokes of the pencil, and he really is only looking for one thing. Is this something that appears organic, made by a human hand, or is it stiff? Is it angular, as if put out like by a printer through a human body?
Interesting. You've got a background in art.
Would you like me to roll?
No, this is something I don't think we'll need a roll for this one.
Okay.
You can't tell much off Talfrin's. His is just literally blanking out the page. Sangri's is not perfect. The lines cross over in some spots, like it was done in many ways like a person would, like there was an initial sketch that was being filled in with additional details afterwards. So you're pretty sure this isn't a computerized rendition. This shows the hallmarks of actual art being drawn by a thinking brain. Now, I know where you're going with that. Unfortunately, if it was the Titans involved, they're more than capable of simulating human brains. They were super intelligences.
Maybe he tried to derive more just if it was, is this computer brain or organic brain, but there's really no telling this century, is there?
No, not really, because even computer brains, at least anything above an artificial limited intelligence, is more than capable of simulating human brains to the point where it would still be the same. Even Finn, if he drew a picture, wouldn't be a perfect picture because his brain has actually been designed to mimic a sapient, sentient creature's brain. Even Kadeth's, who's is a neo-octopus originally, their brain was uplifted to human intelligence, and as much as Kadeth is not really human, they still have some human traits, and they mimic some human mannerisms.
And that's where he's looking for the difference between really a thinking being and pure artifice. But I will leave that at that.
And as the crew still has one more day, but they're left with a mystery that they're waiting for the auto doc to come back and give them information on. Right here, everybody, is where we're going to end episode 2. We're going to pick up next week with you all. Probably have gone to bed so that you're waking as you're about to dock with Better Than Vacuum. And you'll have probably the results by then from the auto doc.
And the printer.
And the printer will be done with whatever it's making. Who knows what it is? Maybe we'll find out. We'll see. Hope everyone's been enjoying this little mystery. They didn't get to the station or the scum swarm they were heading to, but you know what? That's perfectly fine because they've got answers to some mysteries and mysteries to some answers that I don't think they've figured out yet. Though I think some people are starting to suspect some weird shit happening. Maybe. And I'd like to thank my players and you, the viewers, for coming out to see this. I know it's there's a big mystery here. This is not Scooby-Doo, but it will make sense in the end. I promise you that. It will make sense. Please, everybody, join us on our Discord. The cast of this entire show came from the Discord. That is where we cast all of our shows from. We also do Zoom Hangouts when we are not streaming Friday and Saturday, which I can tell you right now, this Friday is our last Friday stream for a while because this Friday is our cast Q&A for the end of Kansas City's Chronicle, which means we'll start being able to schedule on Fridays some Zoom Hangouts when I'm not swimming in my damn pool, because I want to get in the pool sometime this summer, damn it. We'll see. But definitely join us on the Discord. We've got a good group of people. We support each other. We look out for each other. And, you know, we like to talk about RPGs and even computer games. We do a little bit of everything over there. If you want to see back episodes of, you can go to our YouTube. All the back episodes of all of our streams, not just this one. We've got Kansas City. We've got Changeling, Mage, Werewolf, more Vampire, and you can shake a stick at. We like our Vampire Demon. We even got Demon. We've got so many games out there, and we really have fun playing them, so you should check that out. And if you want to see some D&D or Call of Cthulhu 5e, you go to London Esoteric Society's channel, and you can see some D&D 5e and Call of Cthulhu. Actually, it's not 5th edition. It's 7th. Isn't it 7th edition for Call of Cthulhu?
7.
Yeah, the newest. So definitely go check that out. If you want to see some amazing content creators, if I can type, hang on, I can't type. There we go. If you want to see some amazing content creators, check out our friends here, Junie Von Esch. She has made it clear to me she is a hooker, not a stabber. So she crochets, not knits. So if you want to go over her channel while she's doing crafts, she posts up pictures in our arts channel on her Discord, and they're cute little things she makes. So you can pop over to her channel when she's streaming. If you're on the Discord, you'll get notified when she streams. It's a great chance to go and hang out with her. You can pop over to Ravdos Archon's channel. He's not only our mage storyteller, he plays in all of our Wednesday streams. He'll be at the cast Q&A on Friday, and he also streams on his own channel. He has an alternating vampire or Camarilla and Anarch game he streams. He does Seventh Seas, Legend of the Five Rings. I think he did Wander Home, I think it was the name of it he did recently. He does a lot of games, so you should definitely go check out his channel. Mischievous Red, she played Gwen in Kansas City. She streams on her channel, does a lot of creative things, paints miniatures, those kind of things, draws sometimes. Again, be on our Discord because she's real spotty about when she can stream because life sucks and adulting really sucks. And some of us don't have a chance to do all the fun, creative things we want to do all the time. So that's just the way that is. Rerolls is on break. Don't know when he's coming back. I'm sure he'll get back to streaming eventually. And DM Daddy RPG, our final friend on our friends list, Jenna Thieves, who plays Sunday Booth in Kansas City, was also in the Monster of the Week serial game that Mama ran. Great player, great role player. She runs games and plays in games over on DM Daddy RPG. As she put it, she married the one who run the channel so that she could run all the games she wanted. I mean, I guess that's a valid reason. I hope it wasn't her only reason, but you know, hey, take what you can get. Pop over on that one. If you want to get you some studio merch, go ahead, get you some studio merch. We've got stuff. We don't really make money on it, but you know, feel free to support the channel if you want. I don't think we've ever collected a payment from them yet because we just haven't made enough to collect anything. I think Mama uses it to get her own merch at a discount. It's fine. Let me see the next one. You want to support the players? Bits and donations, they go to the players, not the studio. It's a way for you to give back to the cast of the show. I know we all play it for fun, but I'm not going to say it doesn't cost anything. It costs time. It costs money. Look, everyone's got setups that weren't free. Costuming, for those that wear it, you know, I'm still upset that Talfrin down there isn't wearing his pimp shirts. I mean, it's the future. You should wear a future pimp shirt. You've got them. You should wear them. We haven't seen the pimp shirts in a long time.
Oh, man.
And of course, if you want to support the studio, if you subscribe on Twitch, hey, no ads, because ads suck, especially in the TTRPG where you'll miss some important shit. You can subscribe there. Or if you want to support the studio, pop over to our KoFi. They don't take half like Twitch does. Or look, money's tight. I tell people, do not spend money on us that you don't have. Okay? Don't. If money is tight, don't spend money on us. But you can still support the studio by going over to YouTube, like the video, comment on the video, subscribe to the channel. Boom. Right there. Good way to support the channel. And now for our schedule. This week, let's see. Tomorrow, we have the final cast Q&A for Kansas City, A Domain Divided. It is the end of Chronicle Q&A, the last time that cast will sit as the cast of that show. We also have two of the guest players we invited in. Urani down there, who played Grant Solomon, who was central to a good portion of the story. He will be there so that you can ask Grant some questions about that psychopath he played and how much he enjoyed being a psychopath in a Shanky game. And of course, Maddox will be there because he was not only playing Vladimir, who was a Shadowlord werewolf, he also was playing Alessandro Giovanni and got to reprise his role as that character from Windy City. So bring your questions for the two of them. And of course, feel free to harass me in your questions because people like to harass me. Yeah. No, Beetle Spock's not going to be there for that
I
one.
can't.
Yeah.
Fridays are tough for him. We had trouble getting him for some of his episodes sometimes and had to work the schedule. It happens. We understand. And then Saturday at 8 p.m. Eastern, Chicago Hidden City, V5 Chronicle set. We're in 2011 on that one.
Yep.
It's not in the Shanky verse. It's in the Junie verse. It's her timeline, her version of events. But you will see Kai down there, Mohel. He's in it. It's a great stream. You should check that out. And then let's see, next Wednesday is Dark Ages again. They just had Gatecrashers show up at their party of important kindred. And these 5 anarchs, I don't think understand what they just walked into when they bust a party that has 2 5th-gen vampires in it. And 2 5th-gen Tremere. It's not going to end well for 5 anarchs who gatecrash the place. They are in the wrong damn room. So check that out. And then, of course, we will be back for episode 304 of Eclipse Phase Fragments of Self. Have you started to understand why it's Fragments of Self?
There are
I'm
a few
hoping-
fragments of self, sir.
I'm hoping that made sense. And as always, everybody, mental health. It's not a joke. It's not a laughing matter. Please take your mental health seriously. Take the mental health of others seriously. A lot of people are not okay. And those of us who suffer from mental health issues, we're good at masking. We're good at hiding the fact that we're not okay. And sometimes it takes a kind word, somebody to just reach out, say, are you okay? Or how you doing? Or just to touch base with somebody they haven't talked to in a while. And sometimes that helps. So please, if you haven't heard from a friend in a while, reach out to them. See how they're doing. Check in. And if you're suffering from mental health issues, I want you to know that it's okay to not be okay. There's a stigma attached to mental health issues that should not be there. There's nothing wrong with admitting you need help once in a while, and mental health can be a problem at times. None of us can get through life alone. I want you to reach out to your support network, reach out to your friends around you, talk with them. It's important, everybody. And if you don't feel you can reach out to your friends, in chat's a list of numbers. You could call or text 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. There's a professional on the other end of the line to help you out. And if you are in crisis, please contact one of those numbers. It's vitally important when you're in crisis to get the help you need. And if you're not in the U.S. or you need to talk when you're not watching this stream, you can go to findahelpline.com, put in your country of origin, get the support lines for your country. Because mental health is health, everybody. We want you to take care of yourself. And then finally, since Mama is not here, so you know, get your damn shots. There is no fucking reason measles should be making a comeback. That's some bullshit. That's some stupid shit. That was a disease we almost had eradicated, and now it's back because people want to be stupid and not get their damn shots. Get your damn shots. And finally, if you're not following what's going on in the world is fucked up. We have a president right now who is breaking the fucking law, breaking the Posse Comitatus Act, PCA it's called, by deploying American troops to be used against American citizens in law enforcement actions. As a former military member and a veteran, I can tell you that is not how the U.S. military is supposed to be used. That is a violation of not just law, but what the military is for. And if you voted for the current regime in power that is violating the Constitution in every way they can, fuck right off. Get the fuck out of here. We don't need you. I'm not that worried about viewer numbers that I give a shit. Because, look, there's real consequences for the elections. And things are getting ugly. Military should not be deployed against, U.S. citizens. There is no deaths happening in L.A. What they're calling a riot is mostly peaceful protesters, and the ones who have been doing things that weren't peaceful have been getting arrested by the LAPD. In between getting beat by the LAPD, I've seen those videos too. So no need for the military. We don't need their help to do it. So fuck right off if you voted for this. Seriously. And for the rest of you, stay safe. Fight back, but fight back smart. Don't be stupid. This ain't the time to get caught doing something stupid. But I do thank you all for coming. And I hope you're enjoying the story, and we'll see you next time. Good night, everybody.